Today, I'm going to take you through my entire hair reset. This is a pretty lengthy process, so I don't do it often, but it's a very low maintenance look. Honestly, the goal is for it to look pretty similar color-wise, at least to how it looks now. We're going to start with highlights, or more like lived-in baby lights, just at the top. Then we're going to add in a root smudge toner. It'll be a darker color, level 8, a lighter toner on the ends. Then we're going to do a haircut. Pretty decent amount. My hair has been looking bad. I don't think testing the Tresemme A-List collection for 2 months was in my best interest for my hair. Then on the side panels here, to cover up this thinness, I usually wear about 6 to 8 fusions, so we're gonna install extensions. And then lastly, we're gonna cut and blend those extensions. You following me? It takes a long time to look like I did nothing. For the lightener, I've got Bright White. This is from Sally's. It's a cream lightener, meaning you can use it in foils or directly on the scalp. I mixed it in a 1-to-1 ratio. That's gonna leave it pretty thick. If I were doing this on someone else, I would do a 1-to-2 ratio, so 1 part of this to 2 parts developer, but I like to keep it a little bit thicker on myself so that way product's not flying everywhere. We're gonna use 20 volume because I'm gonna go pretty quick. I'm only gonna do about 4 panels and I don't have a lot of hair. Pretend this is me. I, for the most part my hair in the middle. So there's my part. I'm gonna take a mohawk section here, so a portion of hair on each side of my part line, and this is the no color zone. No color here, at least for this step. I'm trying to grow out my natural hair color. This is my root color, and hopefully be able to one day just cut this blonde off. So I don't want to stick any highlights up here when the goal is to eventually just grow this out. This is just a good way to start that transition of growing my hair out so it's blended and doesn't have that line. On the sides here, I'm going to do diagonal foils. And then on the bottom, I have 2 panels of blonde, I believe. I'm just gonna touch up the root. I am pretty messy when I do hair in general, which is not great, but I'm extremely messy when I do it on myself. Why is there hair color on the ceiling? The first thing are these blonde panels. So here's my panel of blonde. This darker color is the blonde. Could you do any worse? This is my new growth. We need to go in and color this. This is a little tricky, more so doing it on yourself, because you do not want these two to overlap. When you overlap lightener, it creates a weak point here where it overlapped. And a lot of times that will cause the hair to snap and break. So now you have what we call a chemical cut. So anytime you're touching up lightener on yourself, it's really important you do your best to stay away from that overlapping. And I'll be using a small angled brush for this so I can try not to overlap. I just pull it out. Divide it and get under there. Make sure this hair is to the side. I'm just gonna cover it in a foil so it doesn't make a spot on this other hair. I'm gonna quickly match the other side. Now I've got the middle part. Take a sliver from this side and a sliver from the other side and just create a rectangle. These are gonna follow my head shape, so it's diagonal. We're not gonna do straight across because I do wear my hair up often, so it needs to follow the head shape so it's not that line. Staying away from the hairline, we're gonna leave these baby hairs out. Taking a very thin slice or sliver of hair. It's diagonal, so my foil or paper will be diagonal. These are actually gonna set off the root because I'm gonna tone the root darker, so there's no need to do these way up. Take the brush up and down and just create a staggered look. You could also tease this if you wanted to, the root, to make sure you're getting that staggered look. And stopping right there because it's turning lighter. Leave the tail out, and there's one. Another diagonal subsection. Same thing, super thin. It'll look natural. If you get thin enough lines, it'll end up looking like a weave. Up and down to create the grass look. Stopping when we meet the blonde, that's good. And hopefully you can hear me. Sorry, this is gonna be a lower quality video. Well, lower quality than normal. I left my laptop at home and normally I'll do a test run to see how the audio sounds. Not that it's great or anything, but that it sounds decent enough. If the lighting looks okay, so I have no idea. I don't know. Another diagonal line. Whoa. We may only do 3 up here. The reasoning for this, not only will it help break up this line, which is pretty well blended where it goes dark to light, but it's gonna add a bit of contrast to make my hair look thicker. And that's good. Leave the tail out, and I am going to quickly match the other side. And it's the same process. I did 3 foils or paper here, so I'm gonna do 3 on this side. I don't do the back of my hair. Sometimes I'll get crazy and swing it forward and hand paint it on, but today I'm gonna skip it. I can't see it, so I just forget about it. We'll give these just a couple more minutes and go ahead and mix up the toner color. For the toner, we're doing two different sections of hair. The roots, this is gonna be darker. Here's my hair. Where's your neck? We're gonna do a basic root smudge here, which is a darker color, and then tone it with a lighter color, blending these two together so it melts. It'll be a color melt. So for the roots, 8VB, level 8, violet blue. That's here on the color wheel, so it's gonna cancel out the color across from it. That's gonna be yellow and orange. There's not any yellow and orange at the top of my hair, so what it's going to do is just offer a cooler color. When we color our hair, it can either be cool or it can be warm. So this is gonna cancel out the warmth and turn it to a cool color. Semi-permanent color, so it's not gonna last long. It's gonna fade out with each shampoo. I'm using Redken Shades EQ, 1:1 ratio, so 1 part hair color to 1 part developer or processing solution. Semi-permanent hair color typically uses their own processing solution, so it's not your basic 10, 20, 30, 40. Redken's, which is made by L'Oreal, will look like this. This is their gloss to gel. This is what I'm using today. This makes the formula thicker. The processing solution also comes in this gloss, and it would be for a bottle application if you were gonna squirt it on with a bottle. Because I'm blending two different colors, I need it to be thicker, so I'm using the Bolin brush. For the ends of my hair, we've got a little overkill here. 9P, 9N, 7N, W. I use smaller portions of this, but to make it simple, it would be an ounce of that and half an ounce of 9N. And I meant to put a couple drops of this in, but I had a heavy hand. So 9P is pearl blue, N is neutral, and the 7NW is just in here to kick this down a little bit and add just a little bit of warmth, neutral, warm, so you're not too cool. Let's check on this one more time. All right, that looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse these out. Shampoo them out actually, and we're gonna apply the root smudge first on towel dried hair. Of course, I sprayed myself with water, so just ignore that. And while I was shampooing, I had the thought about clarifying this. If you're trying to duplicate this, instead of buying 3 colors, something that would be very close to this and I use often would be 8N plus 9P. I use different toners on the bottom of my hair all the time, and honestly, it's just whatever I have left from clients. I try not to purchase anything just for me. That's what I had that was almost empty, but the results are really gonna depend on what your hair looks like right now. We're gonna start with the 8BV. I'm gonna section my hair off or divide it into 4 sections. So middle part, right by the ear, behind the ear, and straight down the middle in the back. I do have grays. Semi-permanent hair color is not going to cover grays, it's going to blend them. Outline this quad, the root area, and I'm taking the brush and doing this. Here's my root here and lifting off, kind of flicking it at the end. This is gonna help me when I start melting those colors together. And I'm gonna go down probably to about right here. Then take thin subsections, make sure we're getting the back. I'm doing a little Bob Ross, just painting it on. It's gonna hit the top of my highlights I just did, that's okay. Super thin subsections. Not worrying about being entirely too neat because color melts are meant to look natural. So you don't have to do a straight line and be all precise. We're gonna blend it together. If you're doing the hair extension step with me and your hair extensions don't really match, you may wanna install them before you do this step, so that way you can tone them or correct the color. I'm gonna go through and quickly do the back. Now we're gonna go in with our lighter toner and apply it on the ends. Thin sections and applying it to the ends. I just like to use my hands mostly. Flip it over. Thin section, dropping the color off, running it through. We're still working in the 1, 2, 3, 4 quads the best we can. And also trying to go as fast as we can to make sure the processing time is the same. Ideally, you would put the color on all 4 quads and then blend it, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to do that. Any kind of brush, I'm just using this one because the bristles are close together and it's easy to clean. You're gonna take this from the root and brush. I only do about 2 passes. You can do more if you want it blended more. And it shouldn't turn your hair dark. It's just really melting or blending those 2 colors together. As long as you didn't oversaturate the top, it's not gonna be dark all the way on the bottom. There's not enough color there to spread. I'm gonna do that on the rest of the quads, and then I'll shampoo this out. Now I'm just gonna do a basic haircut. Middle part, take this all the way to the back, focusing on one side at a time. I need a good chunk of this gone because it's dead. So we're gonna end up cutting this diagonal, and I'm sure I've showed you this cut before. I'm just gonna do a really quick version. We're gonna cut it diagonal. That doesn't mean it's going to be a total diagonal or wedge cut. It's impossible for us to cut the back of our hair as we would someone else, where the person's in front of us and we can cut. So we have to over direct our hair where we can see. So we're gonna end up cutting this diagonal because we're over directing it, but when we release it, it's going to look fairly straight. So I'm gonna section off this front quad. For me, it's mostly layers. Even though my hair is really fine, this is too thick to cut at once. So I'll take a thin subsection. You don't wanna cut big chunks of hair because you'll have a stack. It'll look like little steps almost. Comb this down, wide portion of the comb. I don't wanna use a lot of tension. And I'm gonna find on my shirt or my body a reference point. For me, it's going to be the top of this button. So I'm gonna make sure my shirt is as straight as possible. Comb it, take my crab claws, grab my hair. It's loose and it's hugging my skin. It's not way out here, it's towards my body. My fingers are gonna be slightly diagonal. So my shears are also diagonal and I'm going to cut. I need to save that. I'm gonna look at these split ends under the microscope. A wild Friday night. Another thin subsection. That's too thick. You should be able to see your first cut through it. I cannot, so we'll try again. There we go. Loosely comb this. You can see my first cut through that. You're not cutting on top or below, you're just right against it. And some new hair is gonna be added, so you're just connecting the dots or following that diagonal line. And this repeats itself. Very thin subsection. I see my guide cutting diagonal. And see, when you release it, it's not diagonal like you would think, it's a straight across line. I'll be running out of hair because of my layers. My guide's peekabooing right under there. Cut. This for me is layers and I'll put extensions in here, but if it's not for you, you'll just keep adding to it. We did lose quite a bit of length, but it already feels so much better. Now we need to match the other side. You're gonna take a piece that you cut over here and swing it over here, and then start with your first small subsection. So now I've got a guide here, and I've also got a guide on my body, or for me, my clothes. It's this button. Wide teeth of the comb. This time we're going in a little backwards. I'm following the guide. Can you see that? It's poking out right here, and it's hugging my body. So now I'm cutting, still at a diagonal, and I'll save that for my little project. They feel pretty good. I'm gonna quickly finish this side. It's just the same thing. Small subsection, following the guide, cutting on a diagonal. Here it is with just a quick blow dry, no smoothing or anything. We'll still have to refine some pieces after we get the extensions in, but we're gonna be working on this block right here. I'm not trying to add length, just volume. The back of my hair is fine. It's just this panel, these front panels here. Take a horizontal line. I open this like an animal. Full shine from Amazon. These are low quality extensions. You're gonna get about a month out of them. This is my scrap bag, so hopefully we have enough. They're U-tip, they look like little nails. I'm gonna cut this in half, so the bond is a lot smaller. We'll take a plastic shield, go in and scoop some hair. Hair goes in the middle of the shield. Clip the shield using the heat gun, and I would recommend getting one of these versus doing a flat iron. The hair extension looks like this, the U. We're gonna put the hair in it, heat it up, and roll it. It's a little off the scalp. If it's too close to the scalp, it's gonna cause hair breakage. So we're melting that, letting it cool just a second, and rolling it. Really pinching the top so we create a nice seal. That way moisture can't get in, oil, and then we'll have one. Normally I wear tape-ins on the side, but I'm trying to transition into wearing nothing. So these are kind of the step in between, the lesser of the evil, and then we'll do none, hopefully. And that one is too close, was too close. So I had to melt it and move it down a bit. I have one here and one here that you can't see. So now I'm going to put one in the middle. I don't want to stack them on top of each other. They need to be brick laid. And some of these are super thick. I don't like that. I like them to be thinner. Again, because of the low quality, they're different every time. They're good enough for me. I wouldn't put them on someone else. I mean, I'd put them on like a friend or something, but not a client. If you're gonna pay to get extensions done professionally, you're not gonna want Amazon hair. You're gonna want something that lasts a couple months or can be reused. So we have one here, one here, one here. Now we're gonna do one up here, staying away from the hairline here. That's cutting it close, but we'll go for it. And this will be the fourth one, I think I'm gonna stop there. So let me flat iron these and we will cut them or blend them. Here's the 4 pieces. Now to trim these, just gonna fan it out here, and this is my length from my previous cut. I'm gonna cut it just below that. Cutting extensions is kind of like cutting Barbie doll hair. It shows every single imperfection in line. So we want to cut it a little bit lower so we can correct it if we make a mistake. But I actually think that looks fine, right? This one needs a layer because it's pretty close to my hairline. And I think I'll keep that way, where the front is a little bit longer than the back. So it kind of gives the illusion that it's longer than it actually is. It's really right here. This side has nothing, so you can see the difference. Just those few little pieces will do. And the color looks nice. It's a nice contrast with a cooler color going to a warmer color on the ends, but there's no just got my hair colored look, and the highlights are nice, soft, and simple. And it feels a heck of a lot better. It was dead. Here's the back. It should have a curved look. Pretty hard to do straight across by yourself on yourself, and it's not gonna be perfect. I'm not looking for perfection, just that it's kind of even.